Hello, and thank you for tuning in to our 2024 Masters Preview Pod. Now, couple things. First thing, please be sure if you like the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment below, check out a couple of things in the description, and please make sure you stick around to the end when we'll announce our final picks for the 2024 Masters. We're live. We're live Wednesday before the Masters, and I'm back here with my guy, Houston No Prob, Parker Houston. Parker plays golf. Check him out on YouTube. We're going to do another pod here, and we're going to do a little bit of a Masters preview. We got a couple of different things we want to talk about, but headed into this tournament, I guess before we get too much into it, do you have any general thoughts about the tournament this year, or any differences between years past? I know there's not a lot of changes with the course or anything like that, but I mean, what are you thinking about? What's on your mind going into this one?
I'm excited. I mean, the Masters, it's almost like Christmas week. This is the first time all the top guys are getting together in a while since last July, the British Open, I guess.
Yes.
I'm excited. We hadn't had a good Masters in a while. Tight finish.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. There's a couple guys we're not too sure on the form, but overall, I mean, you got to be geared up for a good year. The weather looks good if we can get past tomorrow, Thursday. I think the morning is what looking a little rough. So, yeah, overall, I'm geared up though. Be a big couch weekend all weekend.
Definitely. It looks like if they can at least get some golf in tomorrow, maybe like the morning wave can finish up in the afternoon, get their whole 18 in. It looks like it'll be a pretty normal. They'll probably have a cut after Friday still, get enough golf in to where like the weekend's not really going to be impacted at all. So hopefully that's what happens.
Yeah.
And I mean, that being the case, there's probably going to be a lot of golf Friday, and I would imagine scoring is going to be pretty low, kind of what it is during the week anyway. It's usually set up a little bit easier Thursday, Friday than what you get on Saturday, especially. Saturday is always tough, so I think they can probably get it firmed up by then if they don't get anything too crazy, and should make for a great week weather-wise after.
It looks real good after tomorrow morning, really.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a little bit of breeze go through. There's going to be a lot of sun, so
they got their sub-air systems. You can't forget about those.
State-of-the-art sub-air.
Can't be more than a handful of clubs in the world that have those. So
I love how
crazy.
Have you ever played like a random course though that had a sub-air and they talked about it, and you'd play it and it wouldn't really work?
Can't say I ever have played. No.
Okay, I won't say the name of the course, but I used to play a course a good bit, like right outside of Charlotte. They boasted this great state-of-the-art sub-air system inspired by Augusta, and oh my god, it was just, dude, you'd play it in the winter, or like you'd play it after it rained, and it would just be like splat everywhere.
Do you think they're just BSing saying they did it, but didn't actually do it?
100%,
trying to attract attention.
I think that there's probably
brought you out there.
What's that?
It got you out there, so it kind of worked.
Oh well, I knew a guy that was played a lot of golf with them.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of places that probably say they have sub-air and they don't really have it.
There can't be very many in the world that would think just the cost is,
especially not like state of the art like Augusta. It's just no way.
Yeah.
But yeah, course condition, it should be pretty much what you get every year. I think which hole was there a lengthened one hole from last year?
I had number 2. Moved it back a 15 or 20 yards and left, so it kind of you have to sweep it right to left more now, and it's 310 to the bunker, I think. So for my guy Tiger, it's kind of just driver right at it, I think.
Yeah, probably.
And then another driver to the green, but it's like just under 600 yards, I think.
Yeah, I think if you roll one up there just short of the bunker or keep it just a touch left, I think it's going to be a 3-wood from the top of the hill. Most of those guys can probably still get there. Zach Johnson probably going to be laying up, talking himself into hitting the 3-wood instead of the driver off the tee, maybe. I
Yeah,
don't know.
there's no chance. Yeah.
Good thing there's no water on number 2. But yeah, man, what guys do you have your eyes on kind of going into the week? I know Scotty's overwhelming favorite going into the week, probably playing better golf than anybody out there, but my thoughts are that the obvious pick never really wins in most events. But I mean, what do you got? Who do you have your eyes on?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Obvious pick. I mean, it's tough to choose against him, but kind of what you were saying, obvious pick. A lot of pressure leading into the event, and his putter is hit or miss. If he putts average, he'll probably win. But if he putts great, he's the only player that has a chance to blow out the field, I'd say. If he putts really good, he's gonna win, 6, 8, 10 shots made potentially. But if he putts average or bad, and he won't win putting badly. But I would love to see. Looking at John Rahm, he's the defending champion. He's played okay in the live events, hasn't won. I think he's been top 8 every event, but he should be well rested. He's the defending champion. He's kind of going under the radar. And some of what the media, I think, is they're kind of making up stories. Brandel Chambly saying that he isn't enjoying his time, but really from everything out of John Rahm's mouth, he loves it out there on live. So they're kind of trying to twist it their own way, I think.
It's one of those things for him where he's in a tough position. It's like you just left the tour, you still got, good buddies out there, and you don't really want to leave and just trash the tour and say, hey, live is awesome, it's better. But it's like if he says anything positive about the tour, it's going to be taken out of context. And
he said he missed playing an event or two, and they said he missed the tour, and it's just they're taking everything out of context.
But I'm a little bit concerned about his game, just from how sharp it is or wasn't last week. He played pretty well. He hit the ball well. He made quite a few putts, but dude, he hit like 3-4 balls in the water, over the course of 54 holes, and it's just not gonna get it done at Augusta.
It's not driving isn't a premium really at Augusta. It's more
you can get away. You can get away with the bad tee balls, but he hit some iron shots that went in the water, and I was sitting there looking at it like, dude, what? Huh? Like he hit probably 2 or 3 of them in the water on like second shots or going for par 5s, and like it's something you don't see from a guy like him. But like, dude, he got that corrected. Had he played well or not put those balls in the water last week, he probably would have won by 4 or 5 over 54 holes. So
I think he's due. I think he's due for a good week. Obviously, it's great course fit. He's kind of under the radar a little bit. So I'd love to see him. I'd love to see a couple live guys and a couple PGA guys just dueling it out.
I think there's a couple live guys, and I'm going to go ahead and throw out Brooks Koepka is probably one of the number one, one of the top couple of guys. Like if you held a gun to my head, it's probably I'm picking between Scotty and Brooksy at this point. But like you listen to some guys like that talk, and they've had the benefit, some of these live guys, of they don't really have to. They have some guaranteed money. They don't have to produce results every week on the live tour. And a lot of people look at that as a negative going into the Masters, like it's been less competitive. Like I don't buy the whole thing about it being less competitive. The fields are probably less competitive. There's less guys. But as far as that goes, it's like these guys are competitors. They're professional athletes. I don't really knock them from that aspect. But the other thing is, like, these guys, if you listen to Brooks talk last week, he's like, dude, I've been preparing for Augusta. It's on my mind in December. He's using these events, and it's a huge benefit. He's used these events as an opportunity to get his game in shape for Augusta.
Yeah, it's year after year. That really doesn't matter what he's doing in the other events. He's just practicing. He maybe wants to show a little form, but he probably doesn't even want to win them. Just tuning up. He's a big game hunter. Just wants to go after the majors. He was really going to be it was between John. Obviously Scotty's the favorite, but my next 2 and 3 are right there tight with Brooks and Rahm. So Brooks, he's after those big events. He doesn't have to show that much form. I think he'll be there this week. He played great last year and coming back for a little redemption, I think.
Yeah, I definitely have eyes on a couple of live guys. Brooks, I think Waco's going to be a big one that I'm looking at. I just looking at his game, the way he's driven the ball this year. He's putted it pretty well, which is kind of one of the things he's not done so well in the past. But the iron game's there, the ball striking and his driving has been as good as anybody on the planet for these first couple months this year, going back to last year. So I'm very interested to see what he does at Augusta, with it being a course that suits him, being a longer guy, ton of speed, and also being able to hit a lot of irons close.
Yeah.
Especially if there is any element of softness like Thursday and Friday. I think that it does play into the hands of some of the longer players, because they're still going to be able to get more wedges and short irons in their hands, and they're going to be able to be more aggressive. Unless it's just totally soft, and guys like Zach Johnson are out there sticking 5 woods.
They'll be to get to the par 5s and 2, or
yeah.
Obviously ZJ, he might be hitting 8 irons for his thirds. I mean, no chance for him.
Yeah.
We might get into it a little bit later, but he's my pretty much one of my picks for worst finish. Just no chance.
But yeah, I think there's a handful of live guys. I think that Bryson and Patrick Reed have also kind of, their games are progressing pretty nicely. I know maybe not everybody follows live, but looking at the results and kind of watching some of their games, I think that those are 2 guys that would probably, the Green Jackets wouldn't be happy seeing them win. But I think that they're 2 guys that if you want kind of maximum chaos, they're 2 names who are totally capable of winning this golf tournament this year.
I like that maximum chaos. If we saw, a few live guys there doing it out with the top PJ guys, that'd be a great watch. You can't forget about Sergio, won last week, and won the Masters, obviously. I think it might be a reach for Bubba Watson, but he's there, and that would be, man, Bryson, any of those guys, put them in there with Scheffler and Hovland and Rory, and maybe Spieth. I don't think Spieth necessarily in too great a form, but if we had a leaderboard with that top 8, that'd be electric.
What about you mentioned a name that finishing up last year, I was very high on Victor to win his first major this year, just because of his performance last year, because of that consistency at the end of the year. I know he's made some changes trying to get better going into this year, and it doesn't look like he's where he wants to be yet. But that being said, he's a dude who's played well at Augusta, and I think there is, for some of these guys, there is the opportunity to just kind of stroll down Magnolia Lane and all of a sudden you feel pretty good about your game because you just love the place. I could see. What do you think about him?
Yeah, he's really fallen off since he won 2 or 3 times at the end of last year.
Yeah.
I think he's had to change his swing, which maybe work out for him in the long run, but I think he's going through some swing changes. So, but yeah, maybe this, you're right. The juices do. I'm pretty sure this gets the juices going for him. They can kind of find it this week. This is a big week, so you just got to gearing up for the majors. But my instinct tells me he's probably not going to be there, though, Victor. Just not enough recent form.
I can see it. I think that, man, going through a swing change, being under the gun, like I could see him strolling into Augusta. And this applies to a couple different guys we can kind of talk about. Rory's in the middle of a swing, I wouldn't say like a full-blown swing change, but he's in the middle of trying to make some adjustments. And I think it applies to him as well. It's like, I could see him going in there, being in a good frame of mind, just being athletic and not really thinking golf swing a lot on Thursday and Friday. And maybe being in it going into the weekend. But, once you get to the back nine Saturday, especially, the whole back nine on Sunday. I just think that it's going to be really tough if you're not totally confident and committed in what you're doing to stick around with disaster looming everywhere on the back nine.
Well said. I mean, what Tiger said about Roy probably didn't even really do him justice. I don't think that was a good thing, saying that it's a guarantee he's going to win a Masters. It really isn't, in my opinion. He's had a few chances, but he's not getting any younger, and they're hard to win. I'm not sold that Rory's gonna complete the slam.
I'm a little bit more sold on Rory going into the tournament this year. I think a lot of the pressure is kind of off of him with the whole PGA and Live thing. It's not been in the news as much. He's not getting asked about it all the time. And I think he's also, I don't think there's a lot of people who expect him to, he's usually like the overwhelming favorite. I mean, these past couple years, it's like Rory's going to come in, like Rory's going to win this. Like we know it. He's the favorite. We're going to place like Tiger-like odds on him. And I just think that this is as under the radar as he's ever going to be coming into the Masters, probably for the rest of his career.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's the least picked he'll probably ever be. I mean, like, I've been looking around, and I know this isn't the best sample, but I've been looking around like Twitter, and man, it's like, I don't see Rory's name that much. I see Jordan a lot. Like, I see Jordan a lot more than Rory, and that to me is like shocking.
That is, yeah.
Because we can get into, I mean, do you want to talk Jordan?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Because I know he's one of the big names, and I'll give you my thoughts. I'm interested to hear what you say first, though, about Jordan.
It looked like he was going to win like 5 Masters right away. I mean, for him only to have one, it's kind of incredible. He finished second, I think, at his first one, and then won, and then he should have won that in 2016. He had a big lead going in the back and blew it there on A-man corner. But man, it's really surprising he only has one. But I don't know. I don't know if he doesn't have figured out that dog in him. I listened to a lot of Shotgun Start, and they call him just a guy. He's only won 2 tournaments in the last 6-7 years, I think. And they really haven't been great fields. He hasn't contended in a lot of majors. They comp him to a reverse Marco Mirror. Marco Mirror wasn't very good in his 20s and his early 30s, and then he got hot in his early 40s and won 2 majors and had, I think, 10 or 12 PGA Tour wins. And Spieth has maybe 13 or 14, but just had his majors early. And I really think he peaked when he was like 21. He definitely did. I mean, he's already 30 now, and he won't ever come close to that 2015. And arguably 2017 might have been better, but just he didn't win as much in 2017. I think the strokes gained and all that said he really had a better 17. But I think his major days, he may sneak one in, but he's not going to be.
Yeah.
He hasn't even been in contention in a long time in a major that I can remember.
Yeah, I kind of just, with Jordan, man, I don't see it. He's one of those guys where I don't really have any kind of emotional investment in him. He's kind of, I just don't get excited about him at this point. And for me to be in that point, it's like, I gotta pay attention to your game, and I kind of need to see something before I'm ever gonna pick you or kind of feel confident. It's like, I kind of feel like Jordan with some of these first time guys. It's like Xander. I kind of don't believe you're gonna win a major until you do, and I kind of would say that Xander was gonna win with a whole lot more confidence than, like, if you told me that Jordan was gonna win, my jaw would probably hit the floor. Like telling me that Xander's gonna win, it's like Xander to me is like kind of like a Sergio, man. He's probably not ever gonna be a great closer, but I think he's way too good not to win a major.
Yep, he'll win a few majors, yeah.
But yeah, man, I think there's a handful of guys. I know we haven't talked about kind of some of the younger rising stars on the PGA Tour, if you kind of want to call some of these guys that. But I mean, who else do you have your eyes on? I know there's some guys who kind of come out of nowhere and can contend in this tournament. And I kind of feel like with Scotty being one of those guys that's like the overwhelming favorite, the field, there's probably a couple players that could be there that aren't. And it's kind of already a small field and not that many guys have a chance to win. So, like if we were looking at like a totally obscure winner, um, is there anybody that comes to mind or anybody who you're kind of looking at?
He really might not be considered an obscure winner, but Ludwig Aberg, the first-time player from Europe there, he's pretty highly ranked in the world. I don't know, but not that the world
Yeah,
rankings are that accurate, but he's up there. He's long. He's putts well. I think his game suits the course really good, and he doesn't have those past bad memories of the course and nightmares when he gets to certain holes and shots. He's first time's really not that bad a thing. I know they haven't had a first time winner in a long time, but that can be broken. I mean, Ludwig and Wyndham's a first time player as well.
that
I
was the
think he's
name
a
I was going to
popular pick.
mention.
When Wyndham Clark, he bombs it. I mean, Long is great here. I think they said they might be playing at 7,600 yards one day. I saw.
Yeah.
So I mean, Long is great. It goes great anywhere, but especially at Augusta. So
Yeah.
I think those guys will be in contention.
I mean, if they get the right combo too of like just enough rain and then it's windy on Friday, it could play very, very long. You know, if balls aren't rolling out, it's kind of soft going into the greens, and then you got holes that are playing into the wind. I mean, you could add like another 150, 200 yards to how that course is actually going to play. And you can probably eliminate a lot of guys, honestly, if that's the way
Yeah,
it plays.
yeah. Who would like wrote? I mean, there's not that many short hitters left in the game. Like maybe Brian Harmon. I can't think of that many off the top of my head. Everybody's 300, 310 plus.
Yeah. I mean, you got guys like Tyrrell Hatton isn't that long.
Yeah.
Um, Cam Smith, like I know he's a popular pick. He's had some success there, but there's a question about he still probably has some kind of illness going on from last week, and I'm pretty close to just.
What was wrong with him last week?
They said he had food poisoning last week, but now there's kind of talk about, maybe he just has the flu and had it really bad. It's kind of unclear what's really happening with him. I don't know that I've seen a report that I'm all that confident in, but he hasn't really showed a whole lot of form either. And I could see it not playing to his favor.
Yeah, I'm not big on him this week. Yeah, he doesn't seem. I'm not sure he has the work ethic he had before the big live payday.
Maybe not.
Unfortunately,
He's gotten a
unfortunately.
couple. He's gotten a couple of victories in on live, and I know he had some disappointing major results last year. That's kind of all we've seen from him, really. But I just I don't feel that comfortable with the state of his game right now. I think
20 minutes.
yeah, something like that. Uh, then you got guys like I wouldn't be shocked to see Zalatoris do something. Um, Cameron Young, both of those guys have shown a little bit of form. They've both played some decent golf there before. Uh, but I think probably the one guy that we've mentioned that I would not be shocked whatsoever if he won would be Wyndham Clark. I really like his game. I don't think he has many weaknesses really. I also think I don't know, man. The media they were pretty quick to try to drop him from coverage at the players, so they
And what,
may not. It could be total chaos if he won because I don't think a lot of people would be too excited about that.
I almost think it was the similar media coverage we got to Brooks Koepka when he was first coming out. They weren't treating him very well, and he wasn't understood that
It's
well, and
true.
he could be the next big game hunter, major killer when he could easily cop out, same amount, 4 or 5 in the next 5, 6 years.
I could see it.
I think he's the next great American major player for a while. It kind of goes in waves. We had Morikawa win too, and he thought it was going to be Morikawa season. He was going to be the big guy, and it goes in waves. Obviously, before that we had Rory and Spieth and different guys, but yeah, I think Wyndham's a big name this week. This is his first Masters, right? That's
Yes,
surprising. He's got to be the highest ranked guy ever to be making his Masters
I would
debut,
have to
fourth in
imagine
the
so.
world.
I mean, that's just nuts to me.
It
But
really
it
is.
makes sense. He won at Quail last year. That was after Augusta, and then ended up winning the U.S. Open also. And the courses he's won on are very impressive, and the amount of victories and the amount of times that he's found himself in contention in big events, very impressive to me.
He doesn't mess around with non elevated events anymore. It's kind of wild. I think this time last year he was playing in like opposite field events. It's a big rise in a little over a year.
Yeah, it's been a fast one, but I mean that's how you get there. You win big events and you win majors, and next thing you know, I mean, dude, I saw he wore like some kind of crazy shirt yesterday
Hmm.
in the practice round, and then I saw him comment on like somebody's post, and dude, he only has like 21,000 followers on Twitter. It's like,
Is that it?
dude, this guy, like the media coverage that he's gotten, and kind of the lack of attention that he's gotten so far is so disproportionate to his game, because I put him up there with any of these young guys. I think he's a much better player than a lot of these guys people are talking about.
It's a lot better than someone like that. Yeah, I mean, Max. I like the guy, but he doesn't have a major record.
I
I
wouldn't be
think he has
shocked
like
if
one
Max
top
put something
10.
together this week.
Max this week.
Yeah, I mean, not to
I
win,
mean,
but I could see him having his best major finish this week.
it's about time. He's been a good player for 6, 8 years. I think he has what at least 5 or 6 wins, big
Yeah.
events. It's time that he shows up in some majors, or something's a little alarming if he doesn't.
So what do you
And
think? I'll throw a couple more popular names at you, and then we'll get into like some of the really, really fun stuff. I mean, first thing, I know no one's really talked about him. He does have, he's one of the top betting favorites. The last time I checked, I didn't check today, but I like Hideki's game. He's won there before. He's shown pretty decent form. I would not be surprised whatsoever if he put together a good finish this week.
yeah, he really showed out there at Riviera not too long ago. That was impressive. That was fun to watch. And obviously he's won at the Masters. That's another good one, man. I mean, pretty sure this is shaping up to be one of the better Masters in a long time. We're due. I mean, Decky, I do like that.
Yeah. Let's get into, there's a lot of guys out there who are decent names, probably have decent betting odds. Not like the top betting favorites, but big names that people are somewhat kind of talking about. I want to go through a couple of those guys and just yes or no, can you just eliminate this guy? Like, does he have a shot this week?
Let's do
And
it.
my first name that comes to mind for me is going to be JT. What do you think?
No chance, dude.
Yeah.
The dude he's in a rough spot right now. Changing caddies, that came out of nowhere. He hasn't had he had a few good finishes back in the fall, but those were small, weak events, and he's kind of back to his form last year. Recent form
Yeah.
has been rough. I don't. I honestly, I think we're more likely you get a miscut from him than a top 10.
I agree. I kind of feel the same about Jordan. I just don't have a good feeling about him. If it was like 50-50, is he going to miss the cut or make it? I'd probably take him to make the cut, but
Because it's
if you're going to give
easy
me,
to make the cut here.
yeah, but if you're going to give me
But
like plus
yeah,
money for him to miss the cut, I don't know what the odds are right now, but I would definitely take that. I just don't. Nothing that he's
yeah,
done has really impressed me. I don't have a lot of confidence in where his game is or where it's going. I just can't see it. I'm out on him.
Jordan too. I'm
How
with you.
about this one? Jason Day.
Ooh, that's I think I'm in on that. I think I'm in on a decent finish. I'm not
Okay.
sure about a win, but he's shared some recent form, and he's kind of he's had a good many Masters finishes that I remember he was deep into. I was listening to No Laying Up Pod the other day about they were recapping 2011 Masters. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize. I completely forgot he was like two back on the 18th, one back on the 18th green, I think, and
Yeah, dude, he had a real
uh,
shot to win that.
and a couple others. Man, yeah, I like Jason Day.
Yeah, he was a guy who put together over the course of a couple of years. He had some big time major finishes, and if health had not been a problem for him, I could have seen him probably knocking off a couple of more because I think he was that caliber of golfer at that point. I don't know that he's at that level compared to the competition at this point, but I do think that he still has the potential to be great any given week. I do think that he's still a great player.
Yeah, if you had a bet for like a top 10, could see taking that. But
Yeah,
it's kind of great. Back in 2015 or 16, if you'd said he only had one major, that'd be a big surprise.
yeah, it would. How about next name? We'll just go with last week's winner. What do you think about Akshay? Can we eliminate him? Yes or no?
No, I think he could have a good finish. I don't know about winning. Are we talking about winning guys that can win the tournament?
Yeah, I'm talking about seriously contending.
No,
Can this guy be there on the back nine on
on the
Sunday?
back nine. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, just hasn't proven it in a big events yet. He hasn't played majors and
Yeah, and
hasn't. He's won some two smaller events now, but you need to prove it in a big event first.
and that's it for me. It's like I haven't seen him from him in a big event. It doesn't mean he can't do it, but there's a difference between kind of winning last week versus uh, playing at Augusta and playing at Augusta without a whole lot of experience. I am very, very hopeful about his career moving forward, though. He's a guy who turned pro really early, and he's been around for a while and kind of worked hard and worked his way up the rankings. I think he's got some good stuff coming moving forward, but he's a
I
no for
like
me
what
this week.
I like what he said about how he's after the majors. I didn't dream of winning on the PGA Tour. I dreamt about winning majors.
I like it.
That was a saucy little saying there.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's my type of guy. Um,
Me
just
too.
skip over the PGA Tour wins and go straight to the
The
majors.
Brooks
Let's go
philosophy.
Brooks on this thing.
You gotta go Brooks.
What about next name? Sam Burns. What do we think? Yes, no. Can he be there on Sunday on the back nine?
Man, that one's tough. I don't think he's been driving it very well. He hasn't been getting off the tee, and you gotta have, I guess is why you gotta have be kind of in play, and you can't be spraying everywhere. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Sam.
Augusta's funny. You can't lose strokes off the tee. It's one of those you can hit it way offline, you can get some good breaks, but you got to be hitting it off the center of the face, and you got to be getting it out there.
Yep.
And if you're short and crooked and you're losing shots, having to punch out of the trees, and you just are not playing from within the tree line, it's going to be a problem at some point. So I like him a lot. I like him as a player. I actually like his personality. I'm seeing some of the more in-depth stuff on him, but I'm just out on him this week. I don't like where his game's at. Next name,
I did
yeah,
see him staying with Scotty though this week. Little bros trip.
yeah, that could be good for him. Could be staying with
Yeah.
the winner. What about Cantlay?
Now what I don't know. He's had maybe one time in contention in the major that one Tiger won in 19, but he was way out ahead. He was four or
He
five
was,
holes ahead. I think he tied the lead and he dropped immediately back. He went bogey and
yeah, I think he
probably
did.
man might he not have top 10, but and other than that, I can't think of another major he's really been in deep in contention. I mean, he's not a big game hunter really. He's a PGA Tour guy. When's he's after the PGA Tour events.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't be shocked. I think that I think it would be another one that would probably be like Max Chaos. I don't think that a ton of people are crazy
No,
about Cantlay.
they're not. No.
And I could see like an obscure winner. I could see it being a winner that a lot of people aren't happy with, and I think that could totally be Cantlay. He definitely has the game for it. He does not have any shortness of talent or anything like that. He just hasn't put it together in big events consistently yet.
Yeah.
But
You
I
think
would not.
he will get there though? You'll think he'll
I think he's
turn
going to
his
win a
major?
major. I do.
Win some majors.
Yeah, I think he has the game for it.
He has the game for it. Yeah, I think it's a matter of time. You're right.
I think he has the game for it. Next guy, Tony Finau. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say no, absolutely not. If he was like plus money to miss the cut, I got him to miss the cut.
Really?
I just don't like his game at all right now.
He had a good finish what was last week or 2 weeks ago, I thought.
Yeah, he did. He like top 10, I think. I don't think it was a whole lot higher than that.
I thought it was a third or fourth, but
okay. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't see it. I don't see it. I just don't know that he's a guy who has what it takes to win a major at this point.
Yeah. Hopefully he stays away from the potholes on the par 3 course too.
Yeah, no kidding. That was not good. What about Ricky Fowler? I'm kind of a no on.
No chance. Yeah. He's way over the hill.
Tommy Fleetwood, I've seen that name mentioned as not necessarily as a guy that people expect to win, but as a guy that people want to win. And for me, I'm just not sure about it.
I'm not sure he's like a Xander. I don't know if he has that dog in him. He's never even won a PGA Tour event, I don't believe. So
yeah,
you got to start winning somewhere before you get into the majors. In my opinion, very rarely do you see a guy win a major and not have at least 5, 6 plus PGA Tour wins. Or maybe it's live wins going forward, but you got to get some winning experience.
I agree. I think you got to have won a couple of times. I'm kind of scrolling through the list. We'll go DJ. I think DJ belongs on this list. Just because of recent form, because he didn't play that well in the majors last year. He had to put a couple of good rounds together in some of them, but I think he's a guy that's not that high on the list when you look at betting odds, and he's not really being talked about by really anybody, even as a past champ.
Not much. He won in Vegas
yes.
2 years ago, and yeah, he's already got 2 majors. I would love to see. I'm a big DJ guy. I'd love to see DJ. I think he kind of slacked off last year. Got the big bag of money at the end of the year before, and kind of slacked off. But I think he's got that work ethic back, and he realized he can't do that. I think he's gonna give it another push see if he has another 4 or 5 years for majors, major contention. He has chances. I think he's giving another push.
I think he's a guy who's elevated his game with some of the incoming competition this year on live with, Rombo coming in, Tyrrell Hatton, still a world-class player. I would not be shocked to see DJ play well. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he won this thing. I really wouldn't.
That would be great. I would love that.
So yeah, I think I'm going through the list to see if we missed anybody who's like a really notable guy. Did we talk about Colin?
Briefly, I think, but he hasn't been up to anything really recently, has he?
Okay, I'll go. Eliminated.
He's gone.
That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, eliminated.
All
Goodbye.
Right, next guy. He hasn't shown anything.
Adam Scott, I guess. He kind of has no form. I'm going to eliminate him, even as a past champ. I just don't. His game does not appear to be in a very good spot at the moment.
No, I doubt he'd be in if it weren't for a past champ.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'm with you.
I mean, that kind of concludes it. I mean, you got Tiger, Phil, 2 of the past champs. Well, let's start. We may touch on a couple of those guys when, is there a past champ that you would, I guess one thing, you got past champs that you kind of expect to contend that are in their prime, and then you got the past champ who usually fires a number on Thursday, maybe Friday, and just can't really hang around the whole weekend. Does anybody come to mind when we kind of talk about that second category of guys that you could see shooting a score, but probably not sticking around the whole weekend?
Man, a lot of past guys are just retired recently. I think there's a lot less.
I
Was
know.
looking at the field, there's a lot less guys. They, of course, getting too long, too tough. I don't think you know, not many guys. Phil Mickelson, I guess, would be the one that comes to mind. Second last year, that great final round. I was really rooting for him to make that tight, but he
Yeah.
hasn't shown anything on live. He's checked out on live, but maybe it's like some like we've been talking. You don't really need to show a lot of form, and he just rolls in,
Man,
and you get those Augusta vibes. I think they can fire anybody up. So
he just
he's
seems like
right.
the one guy that is like truly, you never know what to expect with him. So I would almost go on him. I think he's a past champ that I wouldn't really be that. I'd be pretty surprised if he was really in contention, but I would
Yeah,
not be shocked at all if he put together like a good round Thursday, Friday, or, made the cut and then fired a number on Saturday or Sunday. Would not shock me whatsoever. Um, I just like, he kind of has all the shots still. It's just a matter of like, can he hit them at the right time, and how bad are the misses going to be, and is the putter going to
yeah.
be shaky? And I think the putter's kind of started to turn around for him a little bit. But I think he's another one of those guys who's probably been prepping for Augusta low key for several months now. And it's like, this is the big test for him. I don't think the live results probably matter that much to him.
I think a lot of them just check out of those. They're just an abridged to just reps. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Like out of the past champs who I would say they can't really win, but I wouldn't really be surprised to see a number two. I would almost put Tiger in that category. I think that if he's in good enough shape to like make it around the place, and he's been in good enough shape to get in a little bit of practice, I do think that those kind of Magnolia Lane vibes could activate some good golf in there somewhere.
He,
And if he can make it around,
mhm.
I could see like a number. I could see him kind of firing at like a crowd pleasing 68 on
to
Friday or
make
something
to
like
make the
that.
cut. To make the cut. He's going to be motivated to make the cut. He's got the record on the line.
Yes.
I mean, this is maybe one of his last chances to get another record. It was, I think, what is he going for? 26 cuts
Yeah.
in a row
I
since he
mean,
turned pro. Pretty much, he's never missed the cut here.
I
He's
know.
wanting that another record.
I
I,
mean,
I I don't know if he can stay healthy enough and enough just strength and willpower. It takes a lot to him to go through these tournaments. He has to ice bath and just it's a lot for him to go through these. I don't think he can stay there all 4 days, but I
no.
wouldn't be too surprised if he was in the top 10 after 2 rounds. Man,
Something
that would be
like that.
a lot of buzz, a lot of hype if he was. I'd love to see that. That'd be great. But I think as the weekend goes on, especially if I think it looks like we're going to be playing more than 18 holes a couple of days there.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot on him, I'm pretty sure.
I agree. I think the one thing that outside of him being about to fire like a first round 80, or like getting
That'd be
hit by a
tough.
golf cart, or like a tree falling on him, or like something absolutely insane happening, I don't think you see a WD from Tiger this week. Um,
I hope not, man. I really hope not.
I think with the cut streak in jeopardy, I don't think that he's going to go home and pack his bags without probably tapping in on the 36th hole either way.
That'd be great. He has like just over 18 holes under his belt this year. He
Yeah.
said he wanted to play every month, and I'm not sure why he didn't play the Players or Bay Hill or something, but not really a great sign. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't see a WD, but look for Tiger for a top 10 through 2 rounds,
I
I'd
could
say.
see it. I could see it.
Yeah.
Last thing, what about let's talk about guys who can finish last. And we're going to throw out the AMs. I mean, like, do you want to talk about the AMs for a minute? I don't really have a whole lot of interest. I mean, they're great young players and everything, but I don't really think any of them can win. And like, I don't follow college golf like some of the golf nuts out there. I just don't. I don't know these guys.
I don't know too much about him. Dunlap was the USAM champ, but he's pro now. I
Yeah.
think he's in this, but he's playing. He's as a pro. But I don't know. I did watch a little of the USAM. The Shipley guy, big old dude. He looked funny and looked like a cool dude. But I just kind of checked the scores. They won't be in contention.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, but the old guys, man, that's always
All
a
right.
funny bet.
Let's get to the fun part then. Who is going to finish last? And let's pick two. So we got one guy to make the cut and finish last, and then we're gonna have a true DFL, which is gonna be, after 2 days, who is in absolutely last place, probably shot like 78, 82. Give it to me. Who do you got your eye on?
The wounded duck tee shots flying out there, 220 yards off the tee. Mike Weir coming in DFL.
Okay.
Not sure his age, but he's over 50. He's a poofer. He doesn't hit the ball anywhere. He had lightning in a bottle back in 2003. Won this tournament. That's the only reason he's in this. He probably didn't even win 5 PGA Tour events. He's bringing up the rear this week. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Dude, it's gonna be tough to beat that. Trying to think of who I have my eye on. Okay. I'll give you one. I will give you Kurt Kitayama. I know he's not an old guy, but I just haven't heard anything about him in a very long time, and it's like, does he have any form whatsoever? I don't
think so. No,
So I'm going to say I could see DFL, just to throw somebody out there who's not the guy that you already mentioned. I could also maybe see like Zach Johnson. Wouldn't shock me.
Similar situation, a little bit younger, but he's a poofer. He's pretty sure you and I would be out driving him with our 3 woods.
Yeah.
That's a tough look playing a 7,500 yard course in wet. I mean, man.
VJ's really old, but I don't think there's a whole lot of guys who've hit more balls than VJ actually going into this week. The dude's just a madman. I could see him making the cut as probably one of the oldest members of the field. So
yeah.
Who's going to make the cut in DFL or make the cut and finish last? For me, it's usually an AM. Like if an AM makes the cut.
I'm going like a random guy. Like I saw Taylor Moore was in the field. I'm not even sure how. I guess from last year, he won the Valspar last year, but I don't know if I've heard or seen his name many times since then. I think obviously he's a great player, and he's got in the Masters somehow. So
somehow, some way.
Somehow, some way. But I could see he's a good enough player to make the cut, but he's not going to win a major or be in contention of a major. Let's be real.
I'm going to shout out my guy, U.S. Open champ, Lucas Glover here. I think there's a very good chance that he plays well enough to make the cut, but just kind of has his game in not a great spot right now and can't really do much over the weekend.
Ball strike his way to making the cut, and then the putter will fall apart.
Actually, I like that less and less now the more I think about it. But anyway, I'm going to roll with it because I already said it. Is there anybody, last thing, this is one of my favorite things about the Masters, is you usually get some obscure rando. A lot of times it's a past champ that, it's an older guy that you don't really think about. There's been, Fred Couples, several guys like that. Bernhard Langer, who's fired some numbers on Thursdays and Fridays, made the cut. Who's a guy that would not shock you whatsoever if he was like top 10 going into the weekend that no one's thinking about? Because I got like 2 or 3 that I think, and I'm even going to say like top like 6 or 8, not even top 10.
the one that usually comes to mind with Boom Boom Fred Couples, Salt and Pepper Freddy. So he's done it many times. It wasn't too long ago. He was in the top 10 or 15 heading into the weekend, and obviously past champion. Still hits at 25, but it's kind of a similar situation. Probably even worse than Tiger is just his back. I think he has a bad back, but
Yeah.
I still, he would be the one that, gets my vote there.
I'm going to give our neighbors to the north some love here. I'm going Corey Connors. He's played well at Augusta before. It would not shock me if he was in the final handful of groups going into Saturday, Sunday. I like his game. He's a ball striker. Probably doesn't hit it
Yeah,
as far as a lot of guys out there, but I could definitely see him putting a couple of rounds together before we get to the weekend and looking like he's going to be a threat going into the weekend.
he's done that before there.
Yeah, definitely Corey Connors, and then totally out of left field. No one's going to be talking about him, but Justin Rose, just because he's done it several times before at Augusta, just randomly towards the top of the leaderboard out of nowhere. I could see it.
Yeah, I'd be a little out there, but
Totally
I
out
hear
there.
you. I mean, not probably not any more so than than who I just said, but I hear you.
Totally out there. So I guess that concludes the fun section. I guess to wrap things up, do you have, gun to your head, had to pick one guy today? Who are you going with? Winner.
I hate to say it, but Scotty. I just
Um,
think he has the it just he has to just play decent. That's it. I
I
just
just
say
refuse to
Scotty.
pick Scotty. It's too
It hurts to
obvious.
do. It hurts to do it. I don't really like him. He doesn't get excited. He shows no emotion. Just he looks like he's already 50 years old. He's 25. I feel bad for the guy, but no, I think if gun to my head, I'd have to say him though.
I wouldn't mind seeing him win. It would be like total greatness and dominance kind of achieved so far this year, and you'd have to think he'd be the favorite moving forward in the next three majors. Just assuming he's somewhat healthy going into them. But I just think it's the obvious pick. It's almost too obvious to happen.
Well,
I'm gonna
who are
go.
you going?
I think I'm gonna go Brooksy. Um, gun to my head. I don't really see him being up there again and not winning. So for that reason, I'm probably gonna go with Brooks here. I think he's going back and forth between putters and whatever. You can make a lot of his results last week and how he didn't play well at all, but it's just Brooks, and he's going to get a green jacket at some point. Um,
He's
I think if
he's
there's
had a
anybody in the game that's without one right now that has a couple majors, I think he's the guy who's going to get that green jacket.
he's more likely than Rory. He's had a couple of great deep
Yeah.
chances, 19 in last year, and maybe even somewhere else. But man, he's in my top three really for overall favorites.
Yeah, I feel that way too, man. So, gun to the head, you got Scotty. I got Brooksy. What do we think? I'll give you $5 if your guy wins,
All right, and what's the betting
even though he's the
tiebreaker? The
favorite.
winning score. I'm gonna go uh, with some rain and wind moving in tomorrow. I don't think it'd be crazy, but I'm gonna go 16 under.
I think there's going to be some wind over the weekend, and I think it's probably going to dry out pretty well. Um, I think it's going to be a little bit. I think the scores are going to be a little bit higher than that. I could see. I'm going 13.
Okay.
I'm going 13. If I had to say like over under today, I'd probably go like 13 and a half, and I'm taking the under. The one thing that I feel like could really screw me here is if Scotty just has his A game and he shoots like 18 or 19, because it could totally
Yeah,
happen.
he's the one that could run away with it
Yeah, four
if
rounds in the
things goes well.
60s. Yeah, 64, 65,
He
66. He's
he
capable of
hasn't
doing that.
shot like over par all year. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's like the opposite of me. I haven't shot under par all year.
Yeah, me too. I can't really break 80.
But yeah, man, shout out to Scotty, the betting favorite. Hopefully it's a great tournament and we get a really, really solid finish going into next year. I think you'll probably see, if we don't have one, I think you'll probably see some changes from Augusta. They may have a bigger field next year. They may look at a couple things, because if there's one thing about Augusta that I totally respect, more than anything, I know there's a lot of stuff that people talk about, but Augusta cares. Augusta and the Masters, I mean, those people care about the fans and the fan experience more than probably anybody who's ever run any golf tournament in the history of golf. It's incredible what they do with no commercials, bringing you basically all the golf. It's awesome.
The
It's
the app is insane. Yeah, the best sports app, golf app by far. And yeah, the Masters like Christmas. This is a great week. I'm stoked. Just this is one that I pretty much cancel all plans for the weekend. I just watch it
Yeah,
all,
man.
take it all in.
It's the one golf tournament every year that I must see. Like, I will plan my life around watching this golf tournament.
You got to.
Still got a couple early times on Saturday and Sunday, but I will definitely be back well in time for the leaders to tee
And
off.
then you're gonna
And
miss the A-Man corner coverage and on the range and Golf Central pregame. You're gonna miss all
have it
that.
in my golf cart.
It's not the same.
It'll be
Can't
just
do
fine though. But
it.
yeah, man, it's awesome. Before we wrap, is there anything that you want to leave everybody with? Any thoughts for everybody out there?
Oh, not really. No, I appreciate you having me on. I'm just excited for the Masters. I'm not betting or gambling this week, but if I were to, like I was saying, Scotty's a great chance, but I'm excited to soak it all in. Wow, what a great week it is.
Absolutely. Well, cheers to that. Hopefully, we have the best Masters in years, and I mean, I'm pumped for it. I think it's going to be awesome.
It should be. Well, I agree.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in to our 2024 Masters Preview Pod. Hope you enjoyed. Once again, if you did, please like below, subscribe, check out the description to the video as well. We got our partners down there and a couple of promo codes, things like that for you. So be sure to check that out. Hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time, peace.